developing how I eat as part of my identity means that I eat during the summer the same way I do during the winter or the spring or the fall. Now, of course, there might be some food options that are available in the summer because, fresh vegetables or different things, but how I see myself as an eater, what types of food I eat overall, does not change throughout the year. Welcome to another episode of the Fasting Method podcast. This is Coach Terri Lance, and I am coming to you today solo. I wanted to do a little bit of a kind of introduction to a topic that we're going to be talking about over the next month at TFM. So if you are part of the TFM community, or if you've been thinking about joining the community, just wanted to give you a little heads up about our upcoming topic of summer socializing and vacations. Now, some people might question, why would this be important to me in this fasting journey? And yet, it is probably one of the most typically asked questions. How should I navigate my vacation? What do I do during the summer? How could I possibly keep up with my fasting schedule or eating appropriately once it becomes summer? So we are already into summer at this point, but we've got quite a bit of it yet to go. And so we wanted to talk more about this. So I thought first I would start a little bit and tell you how I used to navigate summer and vacations. Early in my adult life, I was a middle school teacher. So summer was freedom to me. It meant no longer having to go to work every day. Now, of course, at some point I started taking college classes to get my master's degree and things, but summer really just kind of spelled freedom to me. Didn't have to get up early. I didn't have to do lesson plans. I didn't have to face 100 of middle school students every day. So it was really this kind of exciting time. And unfortunately, where I was in my health journey, it meant playtime when it came to food. It meant whatever I wanted to eat, whenever I wanted to eat it, wherever I would eat. It was really just, again, like that time that I kind of framed up as freedom to get to just do whatever I want and enjoy myself, because the school year was really difficult and I deserved this freedom. And then vacations, much like summer, vacations to me meant freedom, getting off my normal routine, not having a schedule. Now, folks, my eating routine already was very problematic, but vacations just seemed to kind of give me that license to go even more overboard. Eat dessert at every meal. Eat dessert for my meal. Anything I could think of to just really enjoy the food of vacation. It meant snacking all day. It meant high volume meals, stuffing myself. And again, it depended on where I was going, whether I was going to the ocean and eating a lot of big seafood type meals or going somewhere else for vacation and trips. It always involved focusing on food. Much of my focus and the people around me, our focus was on food. And again, definitely not healthy food choices that I was making. So I go through this transition of my personal health journey. I learn about nutrition that works for me. I learn about my type 2 diabetes and my obesity, and I learn to fast. Now, what do? It's summertime. And I go on vacation. So how do I approach these things now? Let's talk first about it being summertime. For me, summertime no longer represents that same type of freedom it did. First of all, I work a different type of job where I work year-round, so I don't have that same intensity during part of the year and then that justified freedom behavior during the rest. So it's not that affects my summer choices. It is the gatherings, the cookouts, the going places with people that revolves around food. It's people being more likely to invite everyone over for a big cookout where everyone brings things. And of course, half of the people bring desserts and the other half bring things that I don't eat. So summer socializing still can be really challenging. So what does it mean for me now? I know I'm oversimplifying this, but some of you have paid attention. You've heard me say this before, but for me, developing how I eat as part of my identity means that I eat during the summer the same way I do during the winter or the spring or the fall. Now, of course, there might be some food options that are available in the summer because, fresh vegetables or different things, but how I see myself as an eater, what types of food I eat overall, does not change throughout the year. The volume of what I eat doesn't change now throughout the year. Summer is not a time to justify over-consuming. It's not a time to justify extra desserts or extra snacking. It is just another season of the year, but my identity is someone who eats rather low carb, mostly whole foods, and focusing on time-restricted eating or eating only meals. So in actuality, my summer eating does not vary a lot from how I do it the rest of the year. Doesn't mean that it doesn't vary with the other people in my life and the opportunities, but because it's congruent now with my identity to eat whole foods and to eat low carb, that sticks. When I go to a cookout, I make sure there are going to be food options there that work for the way I eat. Fasting, I guess I didn't talk at all about that yet. For me, fasting happens any time of the year. I am not in a phase of my life where I'm doing consistent rounds of fasting. I might fast for a month or two and then stop for a while and then pick it up again later. And it doesn't really have to do with the season. So I might do a round of 6 weeks of fasting in the summer, or it might be in the fall or the winter. It really doesn't matter to me. Some of that may be affected by how many social opportunities or vacations or things am I going on. But fasting, again, for me is not different in the winter than it is in the summer. So I don't see these as two totally different beasts to tackle, so to speak.
Have you ever said, I know exactly what I need to do to lose weight, I just can't make myself do it? If so, you are not alone. But have you considered this? What if making yourself do it is exactly what you need to learn how to do? In my experience, not only as someone who has personally lost 80 pounds, but also as someone who coaches clients to lose weight, that's exactly the missing piece of the weight loss puzzle that is keeping people from reaching their weight loss goals. My name is Heather Shuker. I'm a coach with the fasting method. And if you would like me to teach you what I know about weight loss and how to stay consistent, you're in luck. This July 15th, I will be teaching a weight loss workshop, a 3-day workshop. I'm going to be covering the principles, the pitfalls, and the protocols necessary for sustainable weight loss. I hope to see you there.
So I've talked some about how I eat now in the summertime, and much of that involving around social activities. So I wanted to focus a little bit on vacations. And for me, I know we all use these terms differently, holidays versus vacations and things. But when I think of the word vacation, I think of kind of leaving home, having time off, going somewhere, spending time with other people. So how do I navigate vacations now in this phase of my life? First, I'll talk about the fasting part. Some of you might be surprised, but I don't do fasting while I'm on vacation. I have a lot of other things that I'm navigating. I'm navigating other people's schedules. I'm navigating activities that revolve around food. And I'm navigating my own stressors and things that go into vacation. So I do not do fasts. I don't do 24-hour fasts. I don't do 42-hour fasts. I don't do that during my vacations. What I do focus on is still time-restricted eating. So for me, this summer and my most recent vacation, it was 2 meals a day. Actually, for the past couple of years, much of my time has focused on 3 meals a day, but more recently, I've adjusted that and am focusing on eating twice a day again. It's helping me manage my insulin levels and helping me actually to feel better. So I've moved back to 2 meals a day. So I recently went on vacation, which meant I'm going to eat 2 times a day. I did go to a different country, so there were a lot of different opportunities as far as what foods were available. And you can imagine almost anywhere you go on vacation, there are special foods specific to that area. My experience is often that those special foods that really get the focus from people are not whole foods prepared in healthy ways. They're often highly processed foods. They are often fried foods. And for many of us, they are snack foods and sugary desserts. So being someone who eats rather low carb, who does not eat sugar, and who doesn't eat much processed food, what was I to do while going on vacation? Fortunately, we went to Barcelona, where there was a lot of fresh food. Every restaurant, and we did eat in restaurants for all of our meals, every restaurant had really good fresh food options. And because tapas is so popular there, I could get specific things that fit my dietary approach, while other people at the table were getting other things that fit for them. And interestingly, we shared a lot of those tapas dishes because, again, they were whole food, protein focused, not carbohydrate focused, so they worked well for me. They were fatty meats, so they worked well for me. What I did have to look at differently than the other people that I was traveling with is that because I don't eat desserts, I don't eat sugar, I don't eat those kind of processed foods, everywhere we went, every 20 feet on every block, there was a place selling pastries all times of day. People have it in the morning, people have it with their lunch, people have them with dinner, people have them late at night. Pastries everywhere. And again, about every block, there was a gelato store. So that could have posed a challenge for me if this were a time in my life where I hadn't created this identity as someone who doesn't eat those things. But because I've already created that identity, it just didn't fit. It's kind of like, for me, I don't go into a cigar shop because I don't smoke cigars. Now, if I'm hanging out with someone who smokes a cigar, I might sit outside with them while they smoke a cigar, but I'm not going to engage in that behavior just because someone else is. So that is how I looked at the gelato, the pastries, the desserts that were very abundant everywhere on this trip. Now, some of us who are navigating this journey and kind of sorting through our identity around these things and figuring out how we're going to navigate meals that involve other people, that involve special occasions with family and friends, or vacations, sometimes we feel like we don't really have many options, that everyone else around us is engaging in these foods, we should join them. Some of us express experiencing FOMO, the fear of missing out if we don't engage in those same foods. I can honestly tell you, I don't know what gelato in Barcelona tastes like, and I'm okay with that. Because, again, my identity is that that no longer fits for me. Saying that doesn't mean I don't want it. It doesn't mean I don't think I would enjoy it. I certainly would. If we go back to how I used to do vacations and summer socializing, those kinds of food would have been my focal point. They would have been involved in every opportunity of eating for me. So again, please don't hear that I just have this special characteristic where I just don't like these things. That is not the case at all. But they no longer fit my identity. So when everyone else at the table orders a dessert, or on our walk home, everyone stops to get gelato. I'm okay. Those things just no longer fit for me. Now, some of you may be at a point where you've made some changes to how you eat, and you're not sure how much you want to allow any kind of variance while on vacation or while at a summer social event. And so I always share with people, I think it's important to kind of stick with your identity that you're developing. If you are developing an identity of someone who does not eat highly processed foods, and the options to have on that vacation or at that summer social event is highly processed foods, that just doesn't fit for you. It's not congruent with your identity that you're creating. But if you're someone who says, I want to eat those things less often. I know that I can't engage them every day or every week even, but I want them on special occasions, or I want to enjoy them on vacation. Far be it from me to interfere with that. I'm not here to judge anyone. I think it's important that you figure out what the right balance is for you. For me, it would be very challenging for me to go on that week's vacation, eat those things, and come home and stop eating them. So for me, it's actually easier. They just don't work for me anymore. That's not part of how I do food. And so they just never happened while I was there. But you might decide that you're going to enjoy some foods there that you don't eat typically in your normal routine, but you're going to enjoy them while you're in that summer socializing event or while you're on vacation. I do have a recommendation that I always make to my clients and members in the community, and that is think about the frequency and the timing of when you're going to engage those items. Now, again, I'm using some history for me to kind of create this strategy, but I know myself and how I felt about these foods. And if I had arrived on a Sunday and immediately gone to get one of those highly palatable desserts or snack foods, something really decadent in my mind, I would have started my vacation with it. And that would have set the tone for me that this is what it's about. It would have set me off for, this is the reason I'm here. This is what's fun about being here. This is what's enjoyable about being here. So what I encourage people to do is kind of check themselves and see if that tends to be your approach. Might it be better for you to postpone when you have those items while on this vacation or while socializing? Might it be best for you to arrive on Sunday and not have that special item? Let's say you're leaving on Saturday, not have it until Thursday night and Friday night, or maybe even just Friday night. Maybe you can enjoy that special thing that you've been kind of dreaming about that location, and you can have it, enjoy it, no guilt, no shame. And the next day you get back on a plane and you are on your way back into your own food environment. So kind of postponement as a way to contain the impact of that food rather than starting it right away when you get there. Because again, if I go back to my earlier days, I would have started it on Sunday. I would have then had it on Monday. By Tuesday, I would have eaten it at lunch. By Wednesday, I might have had it for breakfast. It would have just been an all-day affair every day. And many of us know what happens when we approach our vacations like that. We don't really feel all that well while we're there. For me, it probably meant a lot of lethargy, low energy, which then, of course, made me think I needed to eat more of it to get more energy. I can't even imagine what it was doing to my gut health, so I'm sure my system wasn't functioning well. And of course, at the time, I was unaware, but the devastating effect that was having on my blood sugar levels and my insulin, that goes without saying. But how did it maybe affect how much I actually enjoyed my time there? I used to focus on, when will I get that food next? Where are we going to eat? What can I eat? Again, eating overabundance of food so that I was so full and uncomfortable when the meal was over. I was then ready to crash, go to sleep, and not feel well. But that felt to me at the time like just a normal way to do this. So now by using my TRE, or eating only meals, time restricted eating. So for me this time, 2 meals a day. Other times in my life recently would have been 3. Not snacking, not grazing, and then focusing on really good nutrient-dense food in those meals, not highly processed things, not things that caused large insulin spikes or lots of inflammation for me, and stopping at the end of the meal. Now, I am someone who does drink coffee. I did enjoy a fair bit of coffee in Barcelona. So that to me was part of my fun. I tried different coffee shops. I tried different coffee drinks. I had to learn new ways of ordering coffee drinks. But once the meal was over, I might sometimes have coffee at the end of the meal, but then it was done. There was not going to be a dessert or a snack later for me. And I tell you, I felt great on the vacation. My energy level was high. I wasn't inflamed. I wasn't, having gut issues. And so in reality, not giving myself those brief moments of pleasure, eating all of those problematic foods for me, I actually felt better while on the vacation. And I felt congruent with my value system. So all in all, what I'm really encouraging is for you to kind of approach your summer socializing and vacation trips, camping expeditions, things. Be working on, wherever you are in this journey, on the identity that you are creating or have already created about the healthy version of you and how you eat. Do you snack and graze? Or do you do time-restricted eating? Do you eat 2 meals or 3 meals? Do you eat early? Do you eat late? What is the standard for you? And how will you navigate that with the other people that you're spending this time with? And then think about what you eat. Are you someone who focuses on a particular approach? Do you tend to eat paleo or vegetarian or vegan or ketogenically? And how will you navigate this during this summer social event or on this vacation? Plan. Get menus ahead of time. I often looked at the menu before we decided to eat somewhere, making sure there were at least a couple of options that I felt comfortable and safe going in, knowing that I was going to have food that worked for me and that I would enjoy. So again, being congruent with this identity that you're creating about what types of foods will you eat. And if you are going to decide to eat some things that aren't part of your normal routine, when will you do that? Will you start at the beginning of your trip? Or will you postpone and kind of contain it by having it just at the end of your trip? Where I see most of people struggle when they come back from vacations is when they go in with the mindset that no holds barred, like this is vacation, anything goes, whatever I want is fine. They don't feel well much of the time. They come home struggling. They come home and don't fit in the clothes that they took on the vacation. And they're up 10 pounds, they're up 5 kilograms. So approaching it from this new skill set that you're learning, this focusing on time-restricted eating, you might be someone who wants to do some fasting while you're on vacation. That's just not the way I prefer to do it, but I have experience with folks who really actually continue to do their fasting while on vacation. But again, what foods will you eat? When will you eat? Will you have off-track foods for you or processed foods or whatever you might call them? And how will you navigate that? So there's so much to think about with this, but one of the things I encourage is try to simplify it. Give yourself some parameters. If, let's say, for example, alcohol is a challenge for you related to summer socializing, everywhere you go in the summer, everyone's got lots of alcoholic beverages that they're serving all day long. Maybe while you're on vacation, you got the alcohol plan where you have unlimited access to alcohol. How do you want to spend that time? How do you want to spend your summer? How do you want to spend your vacation? Does alcohol work for you? Does it kind of unravel things for you and then you snack more and eat more problematic food? Does it affect your sleep? Does it affect how you feel in the morning? Again, you are on vacation or, enjoying your summer social events. Do you want to feel unwell? So focusing on these things, I think, is really a way to simplify it rather than complicate it. Sometimes people spend so much time trying to kind of plan every possible move that they're going to make during the vacation or during their summer social events, that I really just encourage you to keep working on creating a strong identity and then applying that identity throughout the summer, throughout your vacations, and then throughout the year on holidays and special events. Same thing. You have an approach as far as frequency of eating and what foods you eat, that if you're not fasting, you have a solid plan about how you're going to be handling the eating portion of your routine. So I hope that this has been helpful to hear my kind of walkthrough from the beginning, where summer socializing and vacations, holidays, gatherings, anything, for me was just further justification to go all out and eat the most problematic things in large quantity, to the place now where I could go to another country, enjoy the food, feel nourished and nurtured by the food that I ate, enjoy it, and not feel like I was slowed down at all. I wasn't bogged down with feeling unwell, and I did not come home unable to button my clothes or gaining any weight. I hope this has been helpful, and I will be back to talk with you in another episode soon. Take good care, everyone.